Igual.
Las mismas.
Sí.
Le
Me
tocó
toca hacerlo
hacerlo esta
mañana.
noche. O
No,
mañana en la
mañana.
noche.
Mañana en la noche.
Dejar las lámparas. Pero aquí vas a poner a grabar.
Ya estoy grabando.
Porque
¿La
el
cámara?
simbolito a la
Sí.
esquina de no se...
¿Este pelito?
Porque el televisor está en mute para que no haga, si no pasaría el sonido de la cámara por el televisor. Ok.
Le paso una.
No, bueno.
No sé si me pongo
Danke.
zapatos porque no estoy-
So now we see the driver, and the driver looks like he's talking on the phone,
Mhm.
and he's saying, "I'm sitting at the foot of a tree." So he's telling someone what's happening. I'm sitting at the foot of a tree. Then he says, "I see the lieutenant checking up with the satellite." And we can see that, so he did open the truck eventually, and the lieutenant he's holding some kind of device in his hands, and clearly is confirming via satellite that the load is what the driver says, or that the load is legal or whatever.
Sí.
Then he says, "I see the soldier peeing or urinating." He's using a slang word for peeing, taking a piss. I don't know.
Meando.
And then the sound is bish, bish, bish.
That sound.
Then he says, "The tree is un saman," a saman, meaning the tree that he's sitting under. So in terms of the region, this is even more specific, maybe, I think, because at least saman is a tree from the Cauca Valley.
Mhm.
It really looks like a saman.
I think it's supposed to be a very tree that has very, 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 what do you say, long branches horizontally, that spread horizontally. And we see his truck with the ramp down. Now he says, "I see the shopkeeper raising the volume," and she's standing in front of some kind of stereo equipment and moving a button. And then he says, "It's a ballad, I don't know it," meaning whatever the song is that's playing on the stereo. Then he says, "I see the lieutenant, it looks like I can go now." And
She's calling.
the lieutenant is waving, kind of indicating that he's done with the checkup. And then he says, "I see two guys fighting." And we see two guys fighting underneath what looks like the structure of a kiosk.
Who say that?
¿Cómo?
The soldier.
The driver is describing everything that he sees
Mhm.
from the point of from
But,
where he's sitting.
Who's fighting?
Two guys.
Okay.
Now we have to go here to 12, and this is just a fight.
The fight.
One guy is wearing a shirt and pants, the other guy is just wearing some short pants, some shorts, and they're holding each other. The guy who's just wearing shorts punches the guy with the shirt, then the
Face.
guy with the shirt punches back. Yeah, these are all face punches, and they're drawing blood.
And there is a lot of blood.
Yeah, they're drawing a lot of blood. Now the guy with the shirt is kind of trying to go at the eyes of the other guy, but in the meantime this other guy is punching him in the stomach. Now we see the guy in the shirt tries to grab the other guy by the neck, and he bites him, I think, in the arm, right over his watch. This is a watch. Now they come loose, and the guy in the shirt is holding the shirtless guy's arm, but he gets really smashed hard in the face. This looks like a really destructive punch right on his face. And then it looks like the guy who was just wearing the shorts won. We have to go up here now. This is 13. So now the shopkeeper is asking the guy who won the fight, "Why do you fight that guy?" And he answers, "I don't like people to tell me what to do."
No.
And then she asks, "And what if you don't know what to do?" Right? Meaning, I mean, like, if you don't know what to do and you ask what to
Existential
do.
fight.
Yeah.
Like
And then he puts his hands up to his
the
head.
position of the... Yeah.
And he says, "If I don't know what to do, I will invent something. I will think of something." Meaning, he's not going to ask somebody what to do if he doesn't know what to do, because he doesn't like being told what to do.
But then,
Or I may ask, actually,
Uh-huh.
so I'm wrong. He's saying, or I will ask.
What to do?
And then she asks, what if somebody gives you advice? And then he explains, if I ask for it, it's advice. But if I don't ask for it, it's an order.
But she's very brave because this guy just destroyed the other one and she's making uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, it's true, but they could be friends or they could even be brother and sister.
Maybe they are a couple
Or they could be a couple.
or a brother and sister. I
Yeah.
like her earrings.
Her earrings are diamond shape or rhomboid. Yeah. Here you can see them better.
And her hair.
Yes.
Curvy.
Yes, she has curly hair and she's.
Or
has
maybe she's wearing a wig.
I would think it's her natural hair, but
no, I think it's
can't
natural.
say
Like
for
this.
sure.
See,
Look
maybe
at
it's
this
natural.
form.
Yeah.
Like it's natural.
I
See.
think. And then I think one of them says, I don't know which one, they say some people are born to rule and others, they say that some people are born to rule and others are born to obey. Ha ha ha. You know, because he's indicating that he's not born to obey. He doesn't like being given orders or advice or anything. He just, yeah. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now we are here. And this is the person who lost the fight.
The bloody one.
Es que jaja me dieron en la jeta. Lo acaban de desbaratar.
So he's
Like someone I know.
he's sitting on the floor and then he's laughing. He's saying ha 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 ha. Me dieron en la jeta means they kicked my mouth.
My mouth,
it
no,
really
my
means
ass.
they kicked my ass. Yeah, they fucked me over. They beat me up
Destroyed me.
completely. And then he says, se siente como rico, which means like it feels kind of nice. It's kind of a pleasant
I like
feeling.
this guy.
It's
He's a
kind of.
masochist.
He says, well, let's see, because he says, I see little spots of light moving around like water mosquitoes.
Oh no, he's hallucinating from
so,
the...
you know, his eyes
By the
maybe,
punches.
yeah, his optical nerve was maybe impacted, and he's having some what we call phosphenes or some entoptic phenomena caused by the impact. And now he says, I feel a river of warmth, of little warmth, going down the middle of my body, basically. So he's feeling now a trickling of warm liquid inside his body.
Blood.
And then he says, hey, hasta aquí llegué, which means this is as far,
Done.
I'm done, this is the end of
Yeah.
the road for me. And then he says, this little tree was knocked down.
I know, I really like him.
And then he says, rómpame en las ramas. He's accentuating the R in the beginning of the word rómpame, which is he's saying break my branches, something like that. You know, like break away my branches. And then he says préndame en candela, which means something like set me on fire. Yeah. So he compares himself to a tree.
But he's
and
not
he
gonna
says,
die.
Oh?
He's dying.
We don't know. He says it's the end for me, but I don't know what it means. And he's saying compare himself to a tree that is knocked down and it should be chopped up and set on fire.
He's dying.
Next, we go to the shopkeeper. And she says, remember that the driver had asked her about something that he thought was a soda, meaning like a sweet drink. And then she had said, that's not soda, that's a beer. So now we know a little bit more because she's saying, I'm going to try this new brand of beer. So this explains a bit why the driver was asking, because it's a new kind of beer. And she's starting to selling it, we can guess. And
Make that sound, please.
and she has never tried it. Yeah. And we can see the beginning of the name of the brand of the beer, which is called Caspi. That's already funny because it's gonna be called like
Caspi beer.
Caspi beer or something
Caspita.
like that. Yeah. And caspa is a word that literally means dandruff, but in Colombian slang, somebody who's caspa is like a hoodlum or a bad guy, a bad seed.
Caspi.
So she's saying, I'm gonna try this new brand of beer, and you know, she opens it, and then she says like, this is supposed to taste like fruit, and then glue 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 is the sound of her drinking the liquid, and you
Mhm.
can see a bit her throat. There's some signals that the liquid is going down her throat.
Down to her breast.
And she says that this beer is supposed to have a fruit
A little
flavor.
bit to one, a little bit to the other.
Yeah. It's not so strange that beer would have fruit flavor, but I think here in Colombia it would still be ridiculous. And now we see what seems to be the logo of this beer, or
Dark
the
glasses.
mascot.
It's like raqueto fruit.
And it's kind of a gangster fruit wearing
Gangster.
a sideways baseball hat, and he has a scar. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but the fruit has a scar and dark glasses, which mean, like a badass.
It's like reggaetonero.
Like a
Yeah,
tropical
it's a-
Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
like-
it's a
yeah,
bit like
Kool-Aid.
a reggaeton Kool-Aid.
Reggaeton.
But it's a
What's
fruit.
Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid is an old drink that you would make.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but the Kool-Aid mascot was a jar with similar like gloves and sneakers.
Mhm.
But this is a fruit because you can see that there's some leaves
Mhm.
sticking out from the hat, like when your hair sticks from out of your hat. Okay, and then the woman says the mascot of the beer is supposed to be a fruit wearing dark glasses. And then the mascot is saying disfruta because it's a pun. Because this
Explain that, please.
Try.
Joy, but it contains the word
well,
fruit.
because fruta means fruit, but disfrutar means to enjoy, and of course it means because eating a fruit is the primary enjoyment. So that's why we call to enjoy. We say it has to do enter into a relation with a fruit.
That's a good title for something, the primary enjoyment.
The primary,
Or maybe
You are so
Catholic.
good. You are so good explaining
Yeah.
concepts.
Thank
Ideas.
The primary enjoyment.
Primary enjoyment.
you. So then she keeps.
El pecado original, en fin.
Yeah. Now she keeps talking about the beer, and she
That's
says
novel.
it's supposed to get you drunk faster.
Glue, glue, glue.
And then she has some more sips. She's drinking. She maybe drinks the whole bottle down, I think. In just, if you
Wow.
count them, there's like glue, 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 9.
Mhm.
So in 9, what do you call that?
Sips.
9
Glugs.
sips. Yeah, 9 glugs. And now she holds the bottle and looks at it, and she asks, "How can I sell this? Right? How am I supposed to sell this?" I think because she concludes that maybe her customers are not gonna be interested in that product. So now she picks up a book, and the book says Mercadeo.
Deo.
So it's a marketing book, and she's starting to read the book, and she's, I think, reading to herself. We see in quotation marks the statement, "Marketing is the science of making people desire what they don't know."
Primary enjoyment.
Yeah, disfrutan. So it's strange that she's reading, she's supposed to be in the middle of the book, but this really sounds like what would be in the first page of the book,
Yeah.
So
But
that's a
maybe
bit-
those books say similar things all over.
Yeah, they repeat themselves, or as we have been talking, like, I want to remind you that marketing is the science, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Glue, 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 glue.
Okay.
Glue, glue, glue.
So we need to see. Okay, we continue here in 16.
Uh-huh.
We go back to the driver and the soldier, and then the driver, we see him asking, "Soldier, can I borrow a knife?" And then the driver says, "What do you want it for?" I mean, the soldier says, "What do you want it for, driver?" So they're calling each other by their profession.
So that.
"What do you want the knife for, driver?" And then he asks, "To kill me?" And then the driver says, "Don't be insane. I just want to write something on that tree." Rayar. I mean, he's just saying, "I want to scratch that tree," but it's understood that he wants to write something, because it's a tradition to write your name, no? So then the soldier says, "I will gladly lend you my knife," or like, "I will gladly lend it to you." And we can see he's pulling out the knife from his equipment belt. And then we see the driver who's carving something on
On
the
the tree.
bark of a tree. We see some leaves.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, I'm putting down my name." And then the soldier says, "Why don't you also write my name?" Right? Or please, he's giving him an order. Also,
Write
he's
my
saying,
name.
write my name also. And then he says, it's Julio. Julio being his name, but Julio is also the name for the month of July, yeah? And then he says, and also add the date, June 2nd, Junio, yeah? So his name is Julio, but the month is Junio.
Like Julia in German.
It's
Or
also the name of the month. Do you have Junio?
I have to go all over the 12 months to remember.
Start.
Juni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
März, April.
So
Juni,
it's
Juli.
this great joke also works in German because he says my name is Julio,
This is great.
but it's Junio.
That can be the title of the video. This great joke also works in German.
Okay.